bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Chris Snead, Ben Portman behind the glass. You can hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, questions, reactions, all of that. Welcome there. We got this question. Start off. Snead, are you going to be able to ref some basketball this season after your knee procedure?
Yeah, probably won't see. I did one game. I did a Lubbock Christian high school girls game following the Monday after the Iron Bowl. I mean, Tuesday after the Iron Bowl. Mm-hmm. One game, and I woke up Wednesday morning, and my knee was like, son, what in the heck are you doing to me right now? So I am... it'll
be good to be like cursed out by a joint or a limb.
So I got the next week I had surgery. Obviously, that was the next week. But I gave back everything I had on the schedule until mid-January. So it'll be mid-January. I'll get some games in, and I'll probably will work a ton in January, February. Yeah, I won't be in any tournaments. I won't be in anything right now. Everything that I had scheduled is off the books right now. So, yeah, just got to get the old knee right. And everything's good. I mean, everything's progressing well. I didn't use crutches over the weekend. Mm-hmm. I was cruising around Houston and Galveston, so feels pretty good. Starting to get a little range of motion in the knee, you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
Are you following the doctor's orders to a T?
I am following the doctor's orders. I'm keeping that stupid thing. It is still wrapped to the gills here. You see me? I'm still wrapped up to the gills. I flew on the plane with my little
like a mummy
compression things that look like ankle monitors, which is really kind of fun when you're walking through the airport and you got these things around your lower calf, your calf and lower leg, and they look like ankle monitors. Because I lifted them up to turn them on, and this guy was kind of looking at me like, "Is that guy like on parole or something like that?"
Yeah,
because I had him on both.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "This guy's got two of those things, man," and I kind of wanted to look over and say, "They're compression sleeves, dude."
Yeah, this is. I just had knee surgery, man. You're good.
Yeah,
you're all right. You're just fine. We're all safe here.
Yeah. Don't worry, dude. I'm not gonna do anything.
Got great news for Texas Tech football.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure, if it was going to happen, but over the weekend, maybe some reading of the tea leaves here. You saw Cam'Ron Valdez enter the portal, which I thought was really interesting because
I thought
they
that
were
was
very,
interesting too.
Yeah, they've been vocal about how much they have liked him since he stepped foot on campus. And then, you thought they're probably going to add somebody in the portal of experience as a running back, but you would think Cam'Ron Valdez will absolutely be in the mix to take over for Tahj Brooks. And then as soon as he goes in the portal, my first thought wasn't like freak out mode. It was what is happening, because he hadn't heard anything from Brooks. He was going to play in the bowl game.
The first thing when I heard he was going to play in the bowl game, I said, that guy's coming back.
Yeah,
because there's nothing to be gained. I mean, there's a little bit to be gained. He's not a first or second round pick this year. The bowl game's another data point for you. If you can go and you can torch a fairly porous Cal defense, which I expect to see a steady diet of him in that game. But when he said when Coach McGuire said he was coming back, the first thing that went through my mind was, he's going to make more money in NIL than he would on a free agent contract. And why not take that? And I wouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, I don't know. No one's told me anything. I am straight guessing here that he's got him a fairly healthy NIL deal.
And that was the thing, like, I don't know what his evaluation was going to be, but it felt like at best, and this isn't a knock on him, this is just the nature of the beast from a running back, it felt like starting out as hopefully a 6th to 7th rounder, maybe undrafted free agent, and then we'll see like what a combine can do for his draft status.
Yeah.
And
what do we know about running backs? I mean, they're being devalued in today's NFL.
Yeah.
And I would suspect that you're going to see more quarterbacks and receivers leaving early than you will running backs. Running backs, especially if they're in a running back friendly offense, which this version of the air raid can be and has shown to be, I would suspect that going forward in the future, you'll probably see more running backs that are NFL caliber opting to stick around, because this is one of those few places where NIL is going to benefit them more as a college player. Stick around one more year, because hey, you can get yourself an insurance policy against injury. I mean, if I'm Tahj Brooks, I say, here's what I want. I want X dollars in NIL, and I want a Lloyd's of London policy that's going to pay me X dollars if I injured and I can't play in the NFL beyond this. And somebody that's willing to give you that, I think both of those things are well within the reaches of the Matador Club, probably.
Yeah, because this has got to be a two-way street, because we all know that you have very good NIL backing here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great, and you have, these groups that are fans, just like you and I, that want to see the program succeed, and there are other quote-unquote fans like that at other schools that don't commit, like the way that you've seen here. And because with the running back spot and the devalued, Jamie and I talked about this. We were both of the opinion, and I still am, for the NFL running back, if you have a shot, just as it's being devalued, if you have a shot, go. But that's not counting the conversation on the other side. Okay, but if someone's willing to match those numbers, or even just the opportunity of getting those numbers, then that changes things. And that's what the conversation has completely shifted the past 2 years. And the running back spot's a great example.
It really is. You get the conversation from the Matt Rules, hey, a good quarterback in the transfer portal is going to cost you $1.52 million. So does that mean a good running back in the portal is going to cost you $500,000, maybe $1 million? That's life-changing money. I don't care who you are. That's life-changing money. And there's very few people where, a number with 6 zeros behind it isn't going to change your life.
And you can see, like on those, this is a great example of. Again, and I'm just, speculating on this, but if you have, say, and we're about to run out of COVID year math, which I'm very excited for. You're going to have red shirts and all that sort of stuff, and super seniors and graduate senior. But still, you have that guy that has the chance to go to the league, maybe could make a team, maybe a practice squad. You don't really know how high it's going to be, and even with, like, the combine, you're not sure that's going to help your draft status. That may hurt it.
Yep.
This sort of NIL comeback for it is more guaranteed.
It really is, and it gives that running back, it gives that player that's a caliber, NFL caliber. Maybe they're a fringe draft pick, but they're a damn good college player. It gives them that leverage to stick around college one more year. You might not be a guy that's going to get drafted. You might be a free agent signing in the NFL, but boy, can you help this program here. And we can make that worth your while to stick around here one more year.
And again, you have to have the school commitment. You have to have the NIL commitment to do it on top of it, because, there may not be the same exact case where you have a similar situation up at, and I'm just drawing a school here, like a Washington State that maybe can't do that.
Yeah. Let me ask
or won't do that.
Let me throw this scenario in. What do you think the chances that the NCAA, they did the COVID years, and I know the people that hate it are us people that have to count the years. What year is this guy now? He's this year. Do you think that the NCAA has an appetite to maybe change its eligibility structure, and instead of 5 to play 4, maybe it's 6 to play 5? And the super senior, they just embrace it totally, and they go to a super senior where it's a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, super senior. And it becomes part of the everyday vernacular of the NCAA, and it's just life and times going forth. Because I don't think it's hurt anything other than freshmen not necessarily getting to see the field as quickly as they used to.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
I mean, there's pros and cons of all of it,
There
right?
are pros and cons
because
to it.
you're in a legit now just free agency market every year.
It is. It is a absolute free agency. But that's what we want, right?
Yeah, that's what we wanted, and that's what we got. And it's all fine. We'll get into it a little bit more on the other side. We also have a play of the day. It's the bottom line 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the bottom line 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Chris Snead, Ben Portman. We're live from the First United Bank studio. Get a couple of thoughts and comments off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. They have one question. Do we think that Tahj breaks the school's all-time rushing record? So
all-time, I'm assuming he goes all-time and not season.
Yeah, career.
Yeah, there's a possibility. This is his senior year. Or is he a super senior?
So you have
how many?
You're chasing 4,219, right?
Yeah.
And this would be his. I think this is Taj's last year available. I mean, if he has the same or similar year, he'll be right around those numbers.
Yeah.
Because
He's
you're chasing
Hanspard?
Yeah, Hanspard. And then James Gray's at 2 with 4,066.
I mean, and think about that. That's run heavy offense, feature back time. And we're not really in that type of era here. I mean, we're still in quote unquote an air raid era where it's still I guess at one point in time it was a pass first mentality, but I think we've shifted our focus on offense.
Because people keep on throwing out every once in a while. Like when you're seeing the complaints, the OC complaints, what do they always say? They say the air raid. This is not an air raid offense. This is a spread offense.
It's a spread offense with air raid concepts. And I don't know that you can call any offense an air raid except for what Mike Leach truly ran. I mean, because there were very few people that were committed to do what Mike Leach was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, because there are a lot of people that took concepts from that and made their own version of the quote unquote air raid. But the air raid, I mean, heck, the least important guy in the offense was one, the tight end, because there wasn't one, and two, the running back. And
no, you meant the fullback.
One tight end, two fullback, and the running back. And I remember when you just started seeing you get that running back there. What's he going to do? He's going to catch that 1 yard pass, that swing pass out of the backfield. That's the rushing play, and we all just got used to that. And the traditional line it up, we're gonna hit it off tackle and get our 3 to 4 yards and live to see another day. I mean, it's just different now. I mean, it's really kind of weird because if you were around at the beginning of the air raid, the Mike Leach era, sitting in the stands, and I sat in section 3, row 22, seats 23 and 24, and I heard the people around, you gotta run the damn ball, Leach. You can't throw it every time. And that's what the guy who rode behind me said every time.
It's varsity blues. You counting receivers? How
in the heck are you going to win games if you just throw it? They're gonna figure you out. I mean, we, and I'm a collective we, hated the air raid offense the first year. And if you tell me you loved it the first year, I'm going to call you a bold-faced liar because I sat in the stands with you guys. And you guys criticized him. You dog-cussed him. And then, I mean, you dog-cussed him for 2 years until you beat Clemson in the Tangerine Bowl. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait a second. wait, what? And then it was on. And then you started beating Texas A&M on the regular, and it became a thing. But yeah, and now it's kind of funny as we get back to, you start seeing more of a traditional run game feature back again with Tahj, and you're starting to say, we're gonna throw the ball. We got to throw the ball.
I don't know. I think I saw more of this year at times. Why aren't we giving him 60 carries a game? Why aren't we murdering our running back?
Yeah, it's a little bit funny. It sounded like Elton John there.
It's a little bit funny.
Yeah. I think there's a happy medium, and we're gonna get there. But this is a great example of just playing the hand that you're dealt. And right now, you don't have a whole lot of receivers that are producing for you, and you got a bunch of guys in the transfer portal. You got a quarterback that's got a bum wing, but you got this stud running back in the backfield, and you got some guys that actually run block pretty well. Which is kind of funny.
And you're trying to reshape the passing game, which you would think, just from the classic thought of a balanced offense, which you saw a zip of zilch this season, that would help out Tahj even more. Because, just open up, hopefully, some of those boxes that were just condensed whenever they're going, especially by weeks 6 through the end of the regular season, on every single scouting report for a defensive coordinator, for the defensive line, and for the linebackers, and for the corners, and for the safeties. It's like, hey, get used to this Tahj Brooks guy, because he's not going to beat us. And you still had production from him.
And Tahj is a patient runner, and he just waits out the defense and waits for that one guy to over pursue or make a mistake and not fill a gap. And that's that's patience you don't see out of college kids very often. College kids see gap, hit gap. And that's basically what they're going to go to. And if that guy's standing there, well, so I'm supposed to run between, I'm supposed to run in this gap right here. And if there's a linebacker there, well, I'm just going to run into him. Tahj sees that guy and he just says, okay, that gap's full. I'm going to look out here. I'm going to wait for this guy, and boom, I'm going to hit it. Hit the next hole. And yeah, he'll take a loss, but most of the time he's going to fall forward and get 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, and a lot of times too. And now I want to say this because the offensive line, it was not last year's offensive line.
No.
It wasn't the strength that, was somewhat expected and was told to everybody by the staff. But your run blocking was pretty decent. But at the same time, you also have a running back in Tahj Brooks that if it wasn't, consistently made the first man miss, which is an unteachable skill.
That is that's an Emmitt Smith like skill, which was something that Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, those type of guys that first guy probably wasn't going to tackle him. And Tahj has got somewhat that skill set to him, which is really it's refreshing to see. And we've had some pretty good running backs roll through here. Even in the air raid era, you had some pretty good. Torian Henderson was a pretty good running back. That he just got to catch the ball, and that probably helped him, moving forward into the next level. For the short time he got to play there, but that and pass pro.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line, 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Chris Snead, Ben Portman behind the glass. Tonight, we will have the high school fan zone right here on The Score. 6 o'clock start time. You'll have all 4 LISD schools, Coronado at 6, Estacado 6:20, Lubbock High 6:40, and then Monterey will round out the evening at 7 o'clock with Garrett Luft here in the First United Bank studio. Then over on Double T 97.3, I'm sure a very thrilled Cowboys hour at 6 o'clock. They'll go all the way up to 7, and then it's Monday Night Football, Packers at Giants. It's now time for a Monday edition of Kailey's Dailies.
Clint.
Yes, sir.
Ben. Clint, Ben, I will buy your lunch if you can tell me what December 9th was.
Saturday.
In the animal kingdom.
I'm going to take a stab at it. I'm going to go with the armadillo.
Nope. World Llama Day. That's right. Llamas.
Llamas.
The llamas. Kailey says, for a delayed celebration, we will talk about the llamas.
The llamas.
December 9th was International Llama Day.
They have that wine over there, right? Llama Estacado?
Or is it Llama Day? Isn't that Llama Day Stadium? That the South
Llama Del Rey,
Llama
right?
Day.
She's that singer, huh?
If you've ever seen The Emperor's New Groove, you'll know that llamas are working animals, often utilized in South American countries such as
I don't know.
Peru.
Llamas
are related.
Oh, that's what Emperor's New Groove is supposed to be in, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it Peru?
I was gonna say.
You threw off my groove. Man, I feel stupid. My dog's namesake.
Do you know who llamas are related to?
Alpacas.
Camels.
Oh, that makes
Llamas
sense.
are related to camels, and similar to camels, they often have been used for transporting goods. Llamas have been known to carry over
400 pounds.
200 pounds.
I gave them. Well, I meant 2 llamas. I thought you said 2.
And they can carry that 200 pounds for
10 miles.
12 hours.
Okay.
Llamas are extremely social. Yes, been known to go to nightclubs. They've also been seen hang out in herds of up to 100 individuals. These grazing animals are vegetarians. They're usually only eating grains and grasses, and due to their fibrous diets, they have been known to
go to the bathroom a lot.
spit out chewed plant material at people and other llamas to express their displeasure. You have your mind. Female llamas have been also known to stick their tongues out at their partners to express their anger and disgust when males annoy them. So that tells us that all of our wives are all part llama.
I'm not going to tell my wife that. That seems like might be more than the tongue. I have other things that get thrown at me.
The llama.
The llama.
The llama.
The llama. Yeah. The old spitting thing is interesting.
Yeah, they spit out their fibrous diet.
Have you ever been spit on by a
I've not gotten close to a llama. No. Me and llamas we've got a perfect streak of not running into each other.
I've never been spit on, but I have been in a group that has been spit at. So,
well, you annoyed that llama.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
Someone did.
Someone did. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can hit us up there as well. Cut to the chase. Snead, thoughts on Mahomes, thoughts on officials?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, the call was right. I mean, I don't know anyone that's out there saying the call was wrong. The call was right. And
well, Patrick Mahomes in the moment. He's the one.
I mean, it's
gosh.
That is Kadarius Toney lined up in the neutral zone, man. You can't do that.
He's been a killer this year. I'll be honest. It has been just. I mean, you have not got the reward that you thought out of him.
Yeah,
like when you're like, hey, look at the ceiling this guy has.
I'm not gonna operate in opinions. I want to operate in facts. The fact is, he lined up in the neutral zone. If he lined up in the neutral zone such that the official on the side, the head linesman or the line judge cannot see the ball because your foot, leg, or other body part is blocking his view of the ball, you are offsides on the offense or encroaching on the offense. So that's fact. That's not an opinion.
It is. It's. I'll go from the opinion side. Seems like that should have been easily avoidable, and put it down as another way that you beat yourself if you're a Kansas City Chief.
Every time you see receivers come out to the line and they do a couple of things, and they'll point to the line of scrimmage official, and the official will either say yes or say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And when they say nothing, that's because they're not there to put you on the line. They're there to tell you if you're on the line or not.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times,
it's not T-ball. They're not putting you in your spot. You're an NFL wide receiver.
Absolutely. All you have to do is look at him, and he will say yes. You're on the line. Or he will say, this is the line. And he'll point to his foot. My foot is the line. And you see guys scoot up to that point, or they'll scoot back to that point and because he's putting you, and I'm going to contradict myself, he's putting you where the line is at.
Well, it's one thing if you're checking, but they're not going to go out of your way to be like, psst, Kadarius,
yeah,
couple steps back.
Exactly. And there's a lot of conversation that happens a lot of times. They'll say, hey, back up, you're offsides.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys, you'll see guys back up. Or they'll tell me, hey, you got to get up on the line. And that's not, because there is an advantage gained when you set up on the line. You see those, we call it the airline formation, where the left tackle, right tackle are so far back that their head is not breaking the waist of the center. Mm-hmm. And that's, you kind of call it the airline because it looks like the airline wings. And when a lot of times receivers will set themselves up off of that tackle. And so in order to make that guy be legal, the receiver, he's got to be up on the line of scrimmage. And that makes the tackle look like he's off the line of scrimmage. The tackle gets back that far because he's trying to not get beat by that defensive end who's been whipping his tail all day long. Mm-hmm. So he gets that extra step back. That gives him an advantage. When you line up into the neutral zone like Kadarius Toney does, a player playing press coverage on him lines up where he would normally line up. It gives the appearance that the defender is offsides. Mm-hmm. And so he's gaining an advantage because he's already downfield a half a step. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why that rule's in place. It's not just some arbitrary rule that we say. It's an advantage-disadvantage situation.
And the other side too is it's not like this is a new rule to football. It's also not something like that guy's been.
Is. It's a point of emphasis.
It's not like he's just been hanging it onto his back pocket. It's some rule that no one has ever heard, or even like the concept. Hey, you can't be past the football or in line with the football from either side, and he's just been waiting. And he's been like, I'm going to be a know-it-all ref, and everyone's going to know my name because I was the first person to call this. The history of reffing.
He wasn't,
and that's what was ridiculous about it.
The fact that that's been called 11 times this year is mind-blowing because that is one of the easiest calls for a receiver to not get wrong. All you have to do is look at it, and if he didn't look at it at the line judge or the head linesman, whichever was on the side at that time, that's 100% on him. Sorry, the down judge in the NFL.
Just real quick, and we'll have time to get into this, more tomorrow. The other side of that is the Mahomes freak out.
Let me say this.
The spaz out.
I'll say it like this quickly. Mahomes, you're my dog. You're a Red Raider. I love you, dude. But that was a bad look for you yesterday. Mm-hmm. That's a bad look. And you can't say, I hate this more than anything, where you can't call it in that situation. Well, tell me, Pat, what situation should I call it in? Mm-hmm. And while we're ignoring fouls, which other foul should I ignore? Should I ignore that really suspect personal foul that you got benefit of last week at Green Bay? We could ignore that. I mean, just let me know which fouls we're going to ignore today.
I'll get more into this on the other side, but I personally think that this wasn't an outburst over just that call. Mm-hmm. I think this has been an outburst of growing frustrations, and not with refs. I think it's with your own offense.
He said something popular, and he's not going to get much pushback from many people because he said something. It's easy to bag the refs.
It is the bottom line. Snead, have a good rest of your Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Back with more next on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully your Monday is not too Monday-ish. Clint Scott, Jamie Lent, Ben Porman. You can hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Tahj's patience reminds me of James Gray from 1989.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I do think he does a great job, waiting for the hole to develop. There are times when I'll sit there when the hole doesn't develop, and I'm like, Tahj, you should have just lowered your shoulder and kind of got into it. But more times than not, it ends up benefiting him and the Red Raiders when he's patient back there waiting for it to open up.
I wonder if because you have that from a coach perspective, those types of plays where you're going no, and they oh yeah, good job, way to go. I wonder how many times they have that with him, or probably at this point they just trust him because they've seen it in practice, they've seen it in game after game after game. But I'm like you, because it feels like, I don't know, 40% of the time, 50% of the time, you're watching him go up and you're going, okay, hit now.
Yeah.
And then you're going, oh, great, here's a loss. And then, oh, actually, there's 5 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is just wild.
And you remember Coach McGuire at one point in the season early on was saying, hey, he needs to run like he's 225 pounds. And that was kind of a comment about, indicative of feeling like he's not hitting the hole hard enough. And I remember in the short term being like, well, I don't really notice that too much. But then a couple games later, I felt like Coach McGuire was absolutely right in some of that. And there was some of that. But I just think he does a good job with his patience. And every once in a while, I think it's going to hurt him. I think you're like, Tahj, if you just lowered the shoulder, you'd have picked up 2 yards there instead of getting nothing, But for the most part, I think it's tended to totally benefit the Red Raiders.
Yeah, you've seen way more reward out of it than the working the other direction.
Yeah.
Where
absolutely.
At this point, it's like, okay, let him. I mean, that's his style, and he's given you more from doing that. And it's also just not every single running back can do that, because not every single running back has the vision and then really just the foresight of what's going to happen. Because like some of these holes that eventually develop, as he's banking on, hey, okay, my lineman's about to go this way and actually get in front of this guy, or whatever he's seeing. It's at times it's like running backs playing chess, which typically you don't really like, because I feel like the more you overthink things as a running back, the worse you play. But he's an exception to that, and boy, I just massive that he's coming back next year. I mean, huge.
Enormous.
Yes.
Yep. Felt like one of the things you had to have in the portal was a go-to back, at least one that could have, at the very least, split time with Cam'Ron Valdez.
And I don't think it'll make a difference in this, I guess, kind of viewing, but with Tahj Brooks, by the end of the year, and really you can go to me mid-year, everyone in the Big 12 that was scouting out Texas Tech had figured out that Tahj Brooks was a pretty good running back and you should keep him in check. But now, starting from next year, he's a first-team All Big 12 running back.
Sure.
And I don't know if that will make a difference, but I'm very excited to see how he starts the year with that kind of mentality. He probably had that mentality, and you want that out of your player. Like, I am one of the best players on this team, and I need to act like I need to run like it. I need to lead, whatever you look at it. But this year is like, okay, you're going into it not with the expectation of accolades. You have them now. And you are absolutely the guy.
And let me say this. I think that, his decision to come back, I think all of us as Red Raider fans immediately, stoked, totally pumped, right? And then you can get into it and say, oh, I wonder why he's coming back. Okay, well, then you get into, okay, well, is he not hearing what he wanted to hear from scouts or whatever? Okay. And then maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe it's you hear that NIL is a part of this. Okay.
You see a fairly quick tweet with the Matador Club.
Oh yeah. So he's, we can thank the folks that are offering up money and all that kind of stuff. And so you're saying, oh, this is a business decision he made. Okay. Makes total sense, and totally understand anybody, saying that. At the same time, Tahj Brooks 100% could have done that same thing somewhere else.
Oh, absolutely.
How many guys in this situation are like, okay, well, I'm coming back, but I'm a great player. I'm going to go play for somebody that I think's going to be a conference champion favorite or has a chance to get to the playoff. I'm not saying Tahj Brooks is the best running back in the country available or anything like that. I mean, he's on a short list, okay? But he could have come back and probably come back to college and gone to a lot of different places if he wanted to. But he chose to come back to Texas Tech. So as far as I'm concerned, as a Red Raider, that's all you need to know. He could have got the money somewhere else. He could have, made the business decision in many other schools. Okay, but he chose to do it here. That makes him a, awesome dude in my book.
Well, yeah, and because the portal is a free agent market, and for a lot of players, I'm not saying for every single player, but for a lot of players, that's the leading reason, or maybe even the lone reason of why they enter. They say, "Hey, I'm not going to get anything on the next level. What can I get here? Now that I've got," and with that kind of vein of thinking, I mean, then Tahj Brooks is that guy in the NFL that his team didn't want to commit on his final contract year, and just has these incredible numbers, and all of a sudden there's a lot more bidders on that table than there were at the start of what last year was. And so I agree. I think it does say a lot that he chose to stay. And yeah, you can go the motive talk, you can go whatever angle you want to look at it from, the draft answers just weren't maybe as highly as he would have thought, or hey, maybe another way, maybe I can even bump that up with 2 years of numbers like this.
Maybe.
Whatever that is, the fact is he's coming back to Texas Tech, and it feels massive that he made that decision, that he's still wearing the red and black, and then also just massive for what you can do offensively around him next year, and just having a key piece with hopefully a better offense next year around him. Hopefully a more balanced offense around him, and hopefully, all the other things, healthy quarterback play, better, everything that we've complained about this year.
Yeah.
Hopefully takes another step, which in turn would also help him because now he doesn't have as much of on his shoulders.
Sure.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line from Sooner and Lubbock. No reason for Mahomes to react like that. Yeah, bad luck.
Bad luck, no question. But if I told you that I, at 49 years old, have never had a moment where I acted like an idiot and regretted it, I would be lying. So, I mean, he didn't act like an idiot and then run over and punch a ref in the side of the head, or, do what Von Miller did to his girlfriend or whatever, and yeah, Buffalo played him. That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, he didn't do those kind of things. He yelled and screamed at a referee and was kind of a poor sport to the opposing quarterback and doubled down on all of it in the press conference.
And I'm not, and you're not, and I don't think really anyone is, at least that I've seen. I'm not condemning him to going all of a sudden, he's just going to be known as a bad sport and horrible to work with, and he's going to be terrible in post games from this. It was just it was a bad moment. Well,
I mean, sometimes, I don't think he's going to be that. I think we all have seen enough of him to think he's, got a good head on his shoulders and all that. But, I mean, it's the first time he's ever been, probably criticized and questioned and all that. So we'll see how he handles it. You just never know. Sometimes, when you're the star and everybody loves you, you look like the greatest guy in the world. But then all of a sudden, when there are doubts, you become a different person. And I've noticed on, I know it's social media, don't get me wrong, but I've noticed on social media today, of course, there's lots of comments about, okay, well, this is the guy whose brother did this. And this is the guy who's married to one of the biggest idiots in the history of social media. And so now all those other things seem to be kind of pushed forward, like, okay, well, clearly he's got some issues. He's married to her, and his brother's him.
Part of me was just hoping, just to feel better about it, that he was going to pull off his face Scooby-Doo style, and it was going to be Jackson Mahomes. Like,
Yeah.
That's calm for him. It's the bottom line.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line. You've got us on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Thank you for joining us. Clint Scott, Jamie Lent, Ben Porman. It is a Viking, little crouton, John Ben Jovi edition for you. We'll take you all the way up to 3 o'clock. At that time, it's Tech Talk over on Double T 97.3. Excuse me. I want to go back, Jamie, as I have your tell me I'm wrong statement today, to Tahj Brooks announcing that he will come back for his final year of eligibility and will be a Red Raider for one more year. Well, he's always a Red Raider, but one more year on the field anyways. And this is something that crossed my mind about the situation. So I think with him announcing his return for next season, that was of the good news, and maybe just of news in general. I think that was the biggest good news Texas Tech has received and will receive before next season. And I'm including incoming freshmen committing. I'm including incoming transfers. I'm including staff retention. Obviously, to me, the biggest argument against him would probably be Micah Hudson. Not even probably, but that would be the biggest argument for good news against it. And I'm not, as I say this, I'm not doubting Micah Hudson, or that I'm skeptical or anything like that. But to me, two things. Tahj Brooks is a known quantity. We know Tahj Brooks can produce. You're bringing back the best piece of your offense, maybe the best piece of the team this year. On top of it, what you touched on is I do think it's a sign of, he could have went anywhere. And I do think that there's a portion, maybe the NIL, and probably the NIL was a big portion, and why it made it easier to say yes and come back. But he could have said yes to that NIL at a lot of places. I think it means, too, that he clearly is bought in and wants to be here. It felt like he was bought in all year long in what was a rough year for the offense. All of that together, I think that, you also have Brooks. Another thing that it means, he was already rising up the rankings in career yardage. He has a legitimate shot to do major damage and end up 3, 2, maybe break it.
1, yeah. I think Troy said this morning it's 1,200 yards.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big deal. I mean, that is a huge, huge deal. I think, that's, to me, that was the best good news that Tech has gotten all year long.
All football season long.
Football season long.
I'm trying to come up with a reason that you're wrong. And examples would be, or in contention for telling you you're wrong. Like you said, Micah Hudson committing to the Red Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Except the only problem is he's not a known commodity. We all expect him to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But is he, an amazing game changer? And I sure hope he is.
Yeah.
You watch his highlight tape and you think he could be.
And highest rated recruit ever. Yeah. I think he will see the field day one, but I'm not projecting this. I'm just saying this, you have these top 10 guys. Nowadays, it feels like more often than not, they don't actually finish their career there. So there's the question of, can he live all the way up to the height of coaches, fans, his own expectations? I think he's going to do great for you. I'm not trying to cast any doubt.
Sure.
But the known quantity part leans towards Tahj Brooks.
Yeah. What would it mean if you saw Baron Morton just kill it in the bowl game? Look awesome. And you were able to say, now that he's healthy, that's what he's got the potential to do.
I think I would go, that is fantastic. I hope that it works out the same way next year. But was it because Cal's defense was terrible? Was it because it was a weird bowl game? I would obviously I want him to have a great performance in the bowl game.
What makes it a weird bowl game?
Well, just sometimes you have bowl game results that are just, okay, what can you do that in the regular season next year? Will it be a sign of good things to come? I mean, we all remember the Tyree Wilson game that he had a couple of years ago in the bowl game, and it was a sign of a very good season the next year.
Sure. I thought you were going to tell me because everybody there talks like your boy Troy Landers. What's his last name?
What?
Your boy Troy from the alligator catching show.
Oh, yeah. We'll go down there to the Independence Bowl. We're going to shoot us at a gator. Shoot her, Baron. Shoot her. Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
so that's what I was getting
Swamp
at.
people, yeah.
Yeah, swamp people. That's it. Yeah.
My mind was
I,
being
Clint,
stretched.
think that you are right. You are not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I threw out those ideas fully well, not really being bought into them.
Mm-hmm. Maybe another one, you could go recruiting class as a whole, and obviously Micah Hudson is this been a day, man. Is the leader in that clubhouse and helps rise up. But as a whole, I mean, dominating Texas recruiting right now. You feel really good about that. You've taken
What could you
huge
get
steps.
in transfer portal over the next few weeks that could be like that's a game changer?
Mm-hmm. And you got a pretty dang good tight end over the weekend from Arizona State that obviously you have a connection with before. But I don't know if that guy is out there when you look at like position of need. I don't know. That would be in that conversation where you would feel, okay, that's certainly a heavy enough hitter that we should be talking about it in the same way. I just don't know if that's out there. But
yeah, I think you're not wrong.
Could say I'm right.
I could, but I won't. Unless you agree to do the rest of the show talking like Troy. Because then
There's a most interesting fact of the day. And just no one would ever.
And because I can't understand you, so
Yeah.
I don't know how to respond.
Yeah.
I'll just sit and look at you and laugh, which is pretty much normal.
That's the thing. I do love that show.
Me too.
And I would love to go just for like a day. If there's like a guided tour type thing where basically it was like that situation where like, hey, you can hop in my boat. And I would want to help out in any way I can. My fear is it would take them the 10th time of telling me to do something before yeah. Because that's got to be super frustrating. Right?
Come
like,
again?
You're like on the hand line and you're pulling this huge gator up and you're just yelling and you're like, do this. And I'm just like, what? How? I want to help. I really do, Troy.
Could you talk slower?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Could you write it on a card, perhaps?
Meanwhile, Clint lost his arm to the gator.
Yeah. He's really saying like, hey, don't hang your limb over the boat, dummy. And I'm like, what? Ah! Crunch, rip.
Crunch.
Started using Batman onomatopoeias.
I am going to be disappointed if I go to the Independence Bowl and don't hear from one person that sounds like a true Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
If I can understand every word, that's going to be disappointing.
Yeah. Every person he meets down there, they're like, hey, it's, my name's Michael Fleming. And you're like, oh.
Oh, that's boring.
What's wrong with me?
That's boring, Michael.
We got this. So a 5-star athlete isn't a known commodity. LOL. Okay, hope he learns how to play football before coming. Again, neither of us are saying that we're not excited about him and that he's not going to be looked to produce like day one when he comes to campus and in his first year. I'm just saying until you see that career play out.
Yeah, we've had plenty of highly rated guys come here and it not work out.
Now, this is the highest rated guy, but at the same time, there's other highest rated guys that also haven't worked out.
Yeah.
And it's not to say you shouldn't be excited. I'm thrilled for it. It's one of those like, hey, $1 million doesn't really go that far anymore. It's like, okay, well, I'd like to find out.
Yep. See what we can do with a 5-star.
Yeah. Hopefully it leads to more.
That'd be good.
It's the Bottom Line, 100.7 The Score.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.